All right, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you how one of our clients was able to run his own ads for real estate wholesaling and get 95 leads in the last 30 days with a cost per lead of $6 per lead. So once again, this is a real estate wholesaler who is doing nationwide wholesaling, and he's using our software to run his own ads. He has not had any of us manage the ads for him or do anything other than just the initial setup, which I'll talk about in a second. And he has gotten some pretty insane results. So I'm going to walk you through just this case study, and I'm also going to show you how the software works so you guys can see how you can run your own ads if you're a wholesaler, and I'll just kind of break down the numbers and what to expect. So here is this client. So he's got two properties under contract so far, and basically from the moment we turned on those ads through the software, he's been getting leads every single day. So this is just his message to me, and kind of updating me on how the ads are going. And then this screenshot is basically showing the inside of his account with us. So this is our New Breed Investor CRM. It's built on high level. We have a full real estate investing snapshot and system for our users. And so this is inside of his account with us. This is how I can even see how the ads are going and just kind of get general feedback. And when I took a look and I saw that he had only spent $603, and his cost per conversion, which is cost per lead, was $6.29. This is how I knew that this was going to succeed pretty fast, because you can see he's at 603 spend and he's at a $20 per day budget. So 97 leads here with a cost per lead of $6.23. So pretty insane. So in this video, what I'm going to do is just walk you through the numbers. I already kind of showed you guys, but just so you guys can see in more detail. And I'm also going to show you the overall strategy. So if you've watched other videos on this channel and you've seen our Done For You services where we run, services for investors looking for off-market deals, you'll know that we take leads from Facebook ads to a survey page. This strategy for do-it-yourself is a little bit different, and I'll talk about why. So I'm going to just show you the difference in the strategy between when we do it for a client and when they do it themselves. And then I'm also going to show you a demo of how easy it is to actually run the ads. You can run ads literally within 2 to 3 minutes. So I'm going to just show you how simple it is to run the ads yourself through the system. And I'm also going to break down just the pros and cons of running your own ads. And really what's funny about this entire thing is that, the software that is used to actually, run the ads, like the investors use to run their own ads to our system, we actually use it for our Done For You clients. Now, we do management, and we're optimizing the ads and shuffling things around, making sure things are working well, but the actual software itself, we use for Done For You clients because, it removes all of the error. Once you program the template, it'll just push that template to Facebook, and you don't have to think about it. So I'll show you guys how that works. And then now that, his ad account is consistently producing leads, I think today he got 5 leads. And when I was screenshotting some of these, I think originally when I screenshotted it, it said 96, and then a few minutes later it said 97. So he's getting leads every single day at that cost of about $6. So I'll show you just the projection of the ad account moving forward, and just talk about a few things to consider with doing it yourself and really why this is working. So yeah, let's get into the numbers. So far, 97 leads. So this is just a screenshot from inside of his dashboard, and you can see inside of the New Breed Investor CRM, it tracks all of the leads that come through the actual Facebook campaign. And if you actually click on, that little page, it almost looks like a little Excel sheet. If you click on that, that will basically open up every single lead that has come through the system. So you can track, where leads came from, which specific ads, etc. And then this is another thing too, when, a client marks the lead as under contract or won, and they, add in the value of the deal, this will also populate, the cost per sale will populate, and then your revenue and ROI will populate. So it's really cool that everything's just in one place so that you can track everything and actually see your return on the ad spend. So that's the that's the number of leads. And then obviously we have the cost per lead right here, $6.23. So literally for every, $6, almost like a cup of coffee, you can literally get a motivated homeowner, to fill out a form and basically want to get in contact with you. So super powerful stuff. And then out of the, these 97 people, right, which I'll show you in the strategy, out of these 97 people, 28 of them have actually filled out the long form survey. So you'll see what I mean by this when I break down the strategy, but basically there's an initial survey that's, depending on which template the client selects, they'll either choose a long form template or a short form template. And then after the lead fills out either the short form or the long form, the lead is taken to just a long, like a even longer form. And so out of these 97 people, 28 of them have filled out the longer form as well. And this gives you an accurate address. It gives you time frame, reason for selling, is it listed, property type, all that good stuff. So 28 of those people have actually taken the next step, which was to fill out an even, longer survey. So this is what we, drive traffic to when we do it for clients. So this is basically, what's cool about this is you can run the lead form strategy. You don't have to worry about a pixel and all that stuff. And then, on top of it, then you still get the benefit of people filling out the step 2. And I'll explain that in just a second. And then obviously you guys can see here, 603. This is actually from another case study I had done. So $603 in spend, and yeah, same cost per lead, same screenshot basically. So this is the overall strategy. So we're running Facebook video ads or Facebook image ads, depending on which ad the client selects. They can choose their own ad, which I'll show you guys in a second. And instead of, taking leads from the ad to a survey page, which is what we do with our Done For You service, because you are running your own ads and, we don't want you to get into the technicalities of, having to be your own media buyer. The goal of the system is really just to get consistent lead flow. And, it's not really like you're going to get the same, obviously type of service than if you're paying somebody to do it for you and manage it for you and come up with new ads, all those things. The idea here is more of a plug and play system. The people that are signing up for this usually have the time, right? Maybe they're a solo investor team, wholesaling team, it's just them, and or maybe one VA or something like that. And so usually these people that are signing up are, signing up as virtual wholesalers. It's just them and maybe one other person. And some of them, you may even have a job or whatever it is. And you're basically, you have the time to learn and develop the skill. And so we don't want to, take you too far down, into learning how to run the ads, because you may be spending too much time versus focusing on just talking to people and closing deals. So the Facebook lead form really makes sure that when clients are launching their own ads, they're not really having to worry about, really changing anything once the initial setup is done. So we go Facebook video or image ad to a Facebook lead form. And then from there, we take the leads to the long form survey, and then the calendar page, and then the thank you page. So people will fill out the form initially, and then this is how we're getting name, email, phone, and address. And then once they fill that out, they can, fill out a more comprehensive survey here, and then book their own call as well, and then just go to a thank you page. Now, the other cool thing about the software is that it includes all of the SMS and email follow-up automation that we include for Done For You clients. So you get the exact same system. The only difference is you're responsible for, running the ads, upping the budget, turning down the budget, adding in new ads, things like that. But really, if you pick markets, like a good enough amount of markets, you really shouldn't have to do much management, which is why, this client hasn't had to, go and change and run a bunch of campaigns and split tests, because the ads are already proven. So, this campaign you probably won't even have to touch. And if you ran this for 1 year, you're going to get quite a bit of leads and deals that come through here. So this is one of the best ways to get started if you're on a limited budget. There's a whole other dimension to making this successful, because if you start getting leads, in rural areas or areas where there aren't buyers or just real estate activity, you can lock up a lot of properties under contract, but for what you actually will get paid on, it's not just going to be every lead, right? So nationwide is the best way to get started with paid ads, because if you have $600 extra that you want to spend on leads, there's really no other way to do it in real estate wholesaling than going nationwide. Sometimes you can find specific markets where you can get very low cost, but $6 is pretty much as low as it can go. So this is basically the best thing to get started for if you're a real estate wholesaler, you're newer to the space and you want to get leads. But then again, you have to consider this is just the lead generation and marketing, right? You have to actually know what you're doing. You have to know how to communicate with sellers. You have to have buyers. You have to be able to actually move the deal, right? So this is the best way to get started for virtual wholesaling, and if you're a beginner in terms of paid ads and getting leads. But there are other things to consider when it comes to, making the business successful, because you're going to need buyers in these markets. And if you get leads in a bunch of different areas and you don't have a strong buyers list, then you're just going to lose all your ad spend. So you have to remember there's two dimensions. There's the marketing and the getting the leads, and then there's the actual closing the leads and giving the homeowner what they want and you actually making money, right? So, but in terms of what we've seen, though, this type of strategy with Nationwide is just plug and play. You start getting leads within, usually an hour or two of launching the actual ads, because there's just so many people. So that's the strategy. Now, here's another cool thing that basically makes this whole software thing work. So basically, we use our Go High Level Real Estate Investor Snapshot. So that's New Breed Investor CRM. And then the other software that we utilize to templatize the Facebook ads has a dashboard that you guys can or we can actually see. Sorry, my my cat's right here, like looking at she's like walking in front of the screen. But basically, the software that we use to allow you guys to run your own ads through our Go High Level provides a dashboard. And so what's really cool about this is that, one, we can actually see the spend from all of the people running their own ads. We can filter by the date and time. We can see the actual template, and we can see all of the actual results here. And these are just a few of the clients that are using the system on their own. And so we can actually see, how many leads the client has gotten, what's their cost per lead, and, all that good stuff. And so what's cool is that as we sign up more members and they spend more into ads, and we, continue to see that data, we can see which templates are working, which copy, which headlines are working. And then because of the nature of how the software works, we can just upload a new template, and all you have to do is click on the template and launch the actual ad. But what I've really done a good job about is not really creating too many templates, because templates are really cool in theory, and somebody wants to sign up and see hundreds of templates. But like I said, the goal of this system is for somebody to start getting leads and appointments and closing deals with wholesaling, right? We don't want them, going through a bunch of templates and wondering which ones to pick and stuff like that. So we use the feedback to make adjustments, but really all the templates you need to get going are already in there. But this is cool because we can pass, down information to people that are using the system and say, hey, this template's working good, or this market's working good, if you want to add it into your strategy and things like that. Okay. So this is, something we can see on the back end of just the people using our, running the ads themselves. Okay. And then these are the pros and cons here. Or I'm going to demo the software, and then I'm going to show you the pros and cons. But basically, when you get inside of your account with New Breed Investor, you'll see it's just going to say Facebook ads down here, and then you'll see new campaign, and then you'll choose your platform, which is Facebook. And then we have, you'll see just the motivated sellers long form, and then the motivated sellers short form. And so, if you choose this long form, which is what I recommend, you'll see there's quite a bit of templates that are in here for each of these different states. So for example, let's just say I want to choose, Florida for where I want to market and get wholesale leads. I can just click choose this template. And just like this, it's going to basically ask me the median price point of the area. So I have training when you sign up for this. I have training for how to fill this in. But basically, you want to put in like the median price point for that specific city or county you're marketing in. So just to keep it simple, I'll just say 550K. And this is just a part of the ad copy that goes into the template, which you guys will see in a second. And then all you have to do is click on lead form here. And then you can set your budget of like, let's just say $50 per day. And then you can put in your website here. So we will actually give you a custom website URL that will go into the rest of the funnel system. But just for the sake of, simplicity, I'm just going to put in, my website here. So you would put in the website URL we give you, and then all you got to do is click optional info and then location targeting. So if I want to choose, let's just say Jacksonville, Florida, I can choose it right there. And if I wanted to add more, like Miami, I can do as many as I'd like until Facebook maxes you out. So I think Facebook will let you do like 25, but you could add as many as you want in terms of the software. Like you don't need, it's not, we don't limit how many you can, add in here. So I could add in these two markets just like that. And then everything else is already done for you. You don't have to worry about anything else, but you can upload your own images or videos or things like that in the ad if you'd like, but we suggest just sticking with the template. And then all you got to do is click launch campaign. And then in just, probably 2 minutes, this usually takes, this will actually open up a live campaign inside of Facebook, which I'll walk you guys through, and it'll create the Facebook lead form with all the qualifying questions and all that good stuff, and you don't have to worry about it. So I'll pause this here and open up my ads manager until this loads. All right, so it's going to get done here in just a few minutes, and basically I'm inside of, the ad account that I sent the, this template through. So you can see here we have three campaigns there. These are just, I was making a course on how to run ads. So these are just things, these are just separate, but basically once this publishes, which it just did, then if I refresh this, we will see a fourth campaign, which is going to be the campaign we just made. So you just refresh this. And there you can see it says no ads, but there are ads. It just takes a second to publish. So if we click on this, you can see there's our ad set, and then there's our actual ad. And if we click on edit, you can see there's my business page, there's my Facebook ad, and then here's my lead form, which I'll show you right here. So you can see now there's my business page name, the reason for wanting to sell, property type, that the the lead's property type, how soon would they like to sell, is the property listed with an agent, yes or no, and then the condition of the property as well as the address of the property. Now this is the only way to get the address from somebody on Facebook in the housing category, but basically everything is already done, like all the targeting, all the interests, all the placements, all that stuff's already done. And literally if I just left this ad going, it'll start spending, the budget. So you can see it's already here in review. I'm going to turn this off because I don't need this to start running. But basically this is in review, and it's basically, within, depending on how much spend you have on your ad account, this ad could get approved pretty much within 5 to 10 minutes. If it's a newer ad account, it may take a little bit longer, but basically it's, this is it. You just leave it and then it'll start spending. You can see all the different placements, all the sizing is correct. Everything's already there. And all you got to do is basically let it run. And then the other cool thing about this is that once the ad is published and, you've got the lead form set up, everything's ready to go. All of the automation that I had mentioned up here, the follow-up SMS and email follow-up, it's already ready to go inside of your system. And there's even an SMS seller qualifying bot. So when someone fills out that lead form, it'll opt them in, it'll wait until they respond. And then I just have, some workflows here. Are you the owner of the property? And just some more advanced stuff, but you don't even have to build any of this. It's just ready to go. And since it's linked to the Facebook lead form, then it'll just start running as soon as the ad gets approved and you get the first lead. And then there's also a bunch of other automations in here, follow-up texts and emails here. And then we also have extended follow-up sequences as well, emails and text messages. So depending on the stage of the lead, you can manually add these leads to any of these workflows, and they'll basically run on automation. So it's really, really cool to see people actually running their own ads and getting these types of results. This wouldn't have been possible, even just a few years ago, because the softwares weren't available for you to just templatize the Facebook ads. And so, it would require somebody to actually do this for you, right? Or you would have to do it yourself. And so now with the software, not only do people run their own ads through our system, right? Which is this video that I'm showing you, but we also use that software as well, because you can see how simple it is to basically just turn on the ad and get a client up and running. And we don't have to worry about, fixing little things or making manual mistakes. It just comes out of the box like a product, and then you just choose your market and that's it. So that's how this client is getting results. He's running his own ads exactly how I showed you. So now I'm just going to kind of run you through the pros and cons for this type of a system. So number one, in terms of pros, it's extremely fast to set up, right? Like I just showed you, once you have your Facebook ad account and your page linked, you just choose a campaign, put in your budget, put in your market, and wait 2 minutes until it launches. That's it, right? So it's really fast to set it up. And there's also no management fee. So, you don't have to pay us or a marketing agency to manage the ads for you, because the software itself just does it. You just have to launch the ads yourself. So there's no management fee, which means you're going to save money on, getting leads, right? Because now you're in control of your lead gen through the software. You can also pause the ads anytime. So I showed you me pausing it inside of the Facebook ads manager because, I wanted to show you the live ad. But inside of the Facebook ads right here, right, I can actually turn off the campaign right there. So if I turn that off, it's going to take a second. We can go back to the ads manager, and if I refresh this, you'll see that that's going to be clicked off. So see, just like that. So you won't even need to go into the ads manager. This is just to illustrate that the ad was actually published. So what's cool about the software is you can, turn the ad on or off right here, as well as adjust the budget right here. And you can even see the ad right here. If you click preview, it'll open it up on Facebook. So everything's pretty much ready to go right then and there. And like I said, you can raise and lower the budget anytime, and you can also cancel anytime too with our software. So there's no contracts, there's no obligation to even run the ads. You can, use the software for other things, text blasting and things like that, or following up with old leads. I do recommend being careful with texting cold leads with all the A2P stuff, but you can utilize the software for other things. However, it's really designed to be used for generating leads with Facebook ads, right? But there's no obligation to spend money on ads if you use the system, right? And then there's no need to think. You notice I didn't have to think about what ad I need to run, or making an image, or making a video, or what targeting to use, or what placements to use, and if my ad's going to get approved and if it's compliant. All that stuff, even though in theory it seems like, oh, it's pretty simple, just make an ad. Those are the things that get people, stuck, where they're like, oh, I have to think of an ad, I have to write an ad. Oh, I have to learn how to use ChatGPT to write an ad. And then on and on you go, and you just stack all these, barriers in front of you, versus I just clicked, Facebook ad, I clicked on the new campaign, and within 2-3 minutes, the ad was actually live and ready to go. So not having to think about how to get leads is a huge value. The pros too, and it could kind of be a pro or a con, to be honest, it's probably both. So I'll put that down here. But basically, it's really just a one-time setup. So once your Go High Level account, which is, the New Breed Investor here, once this is approved for A2P, and your Facebook page and your ad account is set up and ready to go, then you can just continue to run as many ads as you'd like, and it's just super easy, right? So the benefit is just, that's really the only 3 little hoops you have to jump over, which I recommend if people sign up for the do-it-yourself, that they book a call with me, and then we just do it together, and then you don't have to worry about it, but you don't have to do that. So if you can just get over these 3 hoops, get your A2P submitted and, approved, and your Facebook page and your ad account is linked to the software, then you're ready to go, right? So that's a benefit, and I'll talk about why it could be a con too. And then also, if you stick with it, your cost savings and profits are going to just be way better, right? If you think about an average agency, I mean, they're going to charge you $700 to, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 per month, right? Plus your ad spend. So by saving on the cost of not having somebody do it for you, your profits are just going to be way better. You'll probably show up better on the phones when you're talking to people, because you're not as in need of having to convert one of these leads. If you do, if you run the ads yourself and you get the hang of it, then you just know that you're going to get more leads. But if you're paying an agency and they're maybe not getting you that great of results, and then you're paying the ads, and then you're talking to people and you feel like you got to convert, you may just, you're kind of chasing it now versus just letting it come to you. So the cost savings are going to be way better because you just use the software. And if you're doing nationwide, like this client that I'm showing you, and you have your back end set up, or multiple virtual markets, it's pretty much going to be plug and play. You don't have to worry about if the system's going to work. We know that if you have quite a bit of virtual markets, or you go nationwide, within a few hours, or to be conservative days, you're going to start getting leads consistently, and you won't even really need to touch the actual ads. So this is a huge benefit as well. You can also upload your own media. So if you don't like any of the templates, or you want to make your own, or make your own video, you can also just upload your own image or videos into the actual ad. So it's basically just running your own ads, and you could choose your own templates, and you don't have to worry about all the other technical things that go into running the ads. And then you can also still add more qualification questions on the survey. So inside of your system, in your sites, and then under surveys, we provide to you a survey, a long form survey there. And inside of that, you can add more questions or change anything that you want in the survey, so that after they fill out the lead form, right? Because you can't change the lead form questions and stuff like that. Those are already proven. But you can change this survey page questions. So you could add more questions. You could make the lead have to upload photos of the property. You can do a whole bunch of cool stuff here. So you get full customization. You can't change the the beginning part of the system, because that's really where leads start to come in. But you can change all this stuff as well. So that's really cool. And then, yeah, lastly, you're in control of your lead gen. You're running your own ads. You're in control of the budget. You're in control of when the ads run. You're in control of what goes out on the ad if you want to change the image or the video. And so once you develop that skill, which is a skill I've spent the last 6 years developing, I know I could go into any type of business and pretty much generate leads with paid ads, right? There's some obvious, exclusions that wouldn't work, but in general, I could go into any type of business and develop a paid ad strategy and make it work, right? And that's a valuable skill, that has allowed me to charge for a service where I do this, or also teach others how to do this for their clients. So learning how to lead generate and, with digital marketing is an extremely valuable skill. So don't underestimate it, especially if you have the time. Unless you're absolutely just not at all gifted when it comes to using the internet and stuff like that. It doesn't mean you can't obviously learn those things. I believe everyone can learn pretty much anything, but unless you know for a fact, okay, I'm not gonna be able to pull this off, then that's a little different. But if you have the time and you just haven't committed to doing it, learning how to lead gen is something that, like I said, is pretty much invaluable. It's one of the most valuable skills that I've developed, right? And no one could take it from me, because I can use TikTok, I can use YouTube ads, I can use Facebook, Instagram, I can do, PPC ads, anything I pretty much can learn because I've developed that core understanding. So if you learn how this thing works and you get your own leads and then close your own deals, it's just going to be way different. And if you do want to hire somebody, you have better questions you can ask them. You can, make sure they're doing a better job. There's a lot of cool things you can do. So this is a great starting point. So what are the cons to this strategy? Because there are cons to pretty much everything. So number one is you're responsible for managing the ads. So it's just something you have to do, right? So if for whatever reason the template doesn't perform, or you launch ads at a weird time, sometimes we've seen ads go live on Wednesday and they get no leads, and then you launch the same ad the next day and it gets a bunch of leads, right? So there's simple reasons the ads may not perform. It doesn't mean that they don't work. It's just there's sometimes just factors outside of your control that influence when people click and things like that, but you're just responsible, right? So you're responsible for, learning the skill and basically making sure that it works. And then the other thing is there is that one-time setup, which I mentioned. So, sometimes A2P can be frustrating. Sometimes people have issues with their Facebook accounts and permissions and things like that. And so those things can be frustrating. Like I said, that's why I recommend, if you did want to do this, you book a call with me after you sign up, because I pretty much know how to solve all these problems and get your stuff set up and running. So, but it is a con if you don't do that, because there could just be issues that take time, right? And then the other thing is you're responsible for troubleshooting the Facebook ads tech. So sometimes Facebook is weird. Sometimes ad accounts get banned, even if the ad is compliant. There's just things that can happen. And, it's pretty much just, on you to figure that out. You may have to make a new ad account and spend time doing that, which is why we have the done for you service, because we have clients that just don't want to ever have to do that. So, that's kind of the trade-off of doing it yourself, is that falls on you in terms of, being responsible. But in general, if, you have a normal Facebook account and stuff like that, and you follow the process that we outline in the course and the software, you shouldn't have too many issues, but I'd be dishonest to say that there weren't potential things that could happen just because Facebook or other things are just being a little funky. So the other con is with the actual strategy itself. So obviously at the end of the day, this strategy is working, right? But one of the cons that we have seen, which is why we use surveys, not lead forms, is lead forms can get inaccurate addresses and just in general more junk leads. And the reason we've seen that is because just the barrier of entry is lower. So instead of having to go through an actual survey, the leads just can, the Facebook form will autofill their name, their email, their phone number, and they can just type in something real quick for their address if a client uses the short form, which is why I recommend the long form. And we just don't see a lot of competent people putting in very accurate addresses. That's just like human nature. So, sometimes these people are doing other things. They see the ad and they click or whatever. And so just in general, you may get more inaccurate addresses and junk leads than if you were to, have a done for you service or something like that with the actual, survey in the front. And yeah, so, at the end of the day, it still works, right? The cost per deal is probably going to be lower just because you're getting more volume, but you may just have to deal with, more people that don't, come in as like clean, serious leads. And then lastly, which really these two things are the reason I've seen people not get success with this type of a system is one, you're steering the ship. So sometimes it's way easier to have somebody manage something for you when it comes to money, because sometimes if you really need that lead or you really need that deal and you're kind of in that energy, you can get emotional and turn off the ads because maybe one day it doesn't get any leads and you haven't quite developed enough experience to know how that all works. And as easy as it sounds to say, just let the ads run. Sometimes it can be harder to actually do that because you are spending your own money. So sometimes there is an element where, when you come in, you have to fill these things out. Maybe you get a little frustrated here and then, you're responsible. And then a few days go by, you're spending money and then you think it doesn't work and you turn it off. These are like the biggest cons I've seen is just people come in, they can get frustrated by these things. They don't book a call with me and then they run their own ads and they just don't have either realistic expectations of what the system's going to produce, or they just get emotional and turn it off. And that can literally just halt your progress. So those are the main cons I could think of. But in general, if you stick with it and, you have the right markets and the right amount of spend, then, as you guys can see, this thing can really take off, right? So yeah, how we're doing this, like I said, is using long form Facebook lead forms with that nationwide targeting. So this client is targeting the entire United States. They're not just doing one, city or things like that. And lastly, I'll just show you a projection of this client's ad account now that we've got a stabilized lead cost. So his cost per lead right now is $6, but just to be conservative, I'm going to put it at $15. So it's basically, almost 2.5 times what he's already paying, but I like to be conservative. So we know that our system takes 40 leads to get one deal. So on average, if he wants one deal per month at a $15 cost per lead, all he needs to do is spend $7 a day. So pretty crazy math here, because oh wait, hold on, this is off. Wait, let me see. Oh no, okay, so this should be one. There, $20 per day, sorry. So this client's right in line with one deal a month. We know it takes, like I said, 40 leads to get one deal, and this is with a cost per lead of 15, which is 2.5 or almost 2.5 what this client's actually paying already. And if you look at the numbers, he's pretty much right in line with it because he's gotten 2 deals under contract. They obviously haven't closed yet, but he's at 97 leads. So he's pretty much right in line with what the system produces. One of those leads he may convert into a deal later down the line. One of those leads may fall out of contract, but in general, 40 leads to get one deal, right? So this client's right in line with what we know the system can produce. And really the main, you can see here, 97 leads, $6 per lead. The main variable here that is creating like a totally different output of the system is that he's doing nationwide. And because he's doing nationwide, his cost per lead is so low. So if you go to like a competitive market, like, Southern California or something like that, you may be paying $100 per lead, which means you're going to pay $4,000 to get a deal. But your deal size is probably going to be $30,000 or more here, right? So slightly different outputs of the system because his average deal size may be $10,000 because he's doing nationwide. So he's going to get people from all over. But his cost per lead is, only in this example, $15. So for every, $600 he puts in, he's going to get, $6,000 of profit, right? So he's basically, 10xing his money if you look at it on terms of profit. Another client, their deal size may be triple, but their lead cost may be, 5 to 10 times more. So this client may put in 4,000 to make 22,000, right? But sometimes these deals take longer to close. There's more people involved. It can get more complex. So, it's a give and take, but, based on what we're seeing from this, client right now, he's spending, $20 a day. He's going to be getting a few contracts every single month and most likely closing 1 or 2. And he'll probably be upping his spend here once he starts, closing and collecting money on those 2. So yeah, just wanted to break down this case study for you guys, show you guys how nationwide wholesaling works. If you guys are investors and want either done-for-you services, there's a link below. And if you are wanting to do this just like this client is, do it yourself, there's a link for that down below as well. So hopefully this video found you well, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.